Hey, hello. So, life has been hectic and stressful and busy. And did I mention stressful? Past couple days, I have been inundated with just lifely obligations. Got maybe a little bit of meditation every night before I go to sleep, but not much from the moment I wake up to the moment I have time to rest. I'm doing stuff. Not entirely excusable, but not entirely blamable at the same time. It's just a kind of a gray area. But today, catching up on meditation. So I'll be putting out a series of videos today. Even though I was busy, I'm going to say because I was busy, the ego inside of me had more space or more leverage to kind of steer the show, kind of steer the boat for me. And there was times where I was tired, but I only had a couple minutes of time. So I would scroll through Facebook. I would just be looking through messages, and I was back to the uh, technology distracted, addictive, scurried mindset that people in 2017 are very stuck in, and it seems to be the status quo for the average person or for most people. And I got kind of sucked into that. I was like sucked into the cyber vortexes, I would like to call it. I'm just aimlessly scrolling and looking at stuff just to not really do anything but be distracted at the same time. So not really do anything, so I don't have to do something. Actually doing something separate from the phone. It's really stupid, and people do it all the time, and it just kind of it just like exercises anxiety in you. You're not really living life. You're not really doing anything. You're not even reflecting to yourself. You're just kind of going from one incomplete thought or concept to another. I feel like that's what social media and web browsing is. If you're not going in with a purpose, that's what it is. So it is anxiety driven. That's what I really feel it is, and I kind of got sucked into that and got addicted to it, and I was thinking to myself, there was a little quiet voice in the back of my head that said, like, you could be meditating instead. You could be connecting to yourself instead so you don't have to do this. But something was like, no, 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 I don't have much time. I'm just going to do this for right now. That's what a lot of us do. And that thing could be meditation. It could be exercising. It could be sleeping. It could be talking to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. It could be a lot of things. A lot of things that make you actually happy. But for whatever reason, you put it off because I'm saying you as collectively like anybody. You put it off because you have fill in the blank excuse. There's something that you're thinking about in your head that you want to avoid. And anxiety is just your mind working faster than your hands and feet can. It's trying to map out all the problems before you do it and then be like, no, I'm gonna encounter this and this and this, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna protect myself. The ego's trying to protect yourself, and I put protect yourself in quotes because it's not really protecting you. It's um, it's just closing off your heart. Basically, it's trying to save you from any future hurt. And we say hurt like it's a bad thing, like it has to be so tragic, or any challenges or you know any obstacles. But sometimes there's a lot of the time there's a great deal of joy and enlightenment and benefit from just going ahead and do it. I had a lot of reservation. For example, I had a lot of reservation about starting my new album for the past 2 years. Oh, I need this money. I need to practice my songs more. I need to figure out new songs. I got to figure out some kind of producer. Like I got to get the best producer. I came up with all these things, and it wasn't until I decided like, no, I'm gonna do this right now. and I put up a crowdfund campaign. I'm like, I'm not sure if anyone's going to pay attention to this, but this is the door to open to do this. I reached out to a producer a couple of months previous, and I said, let's do, I just decided to go do it. I didn't care about the challenges and the obstacles. I did it because I wanted to do it. And there's this music that I want to get out. And although the crowdfund campaign didn't take off the way I wanted it to, although the producer wasn't available right when I wanted him to, it's moving forward. It's moving forward. And I realized, I can still do this. I can supply with my own money. I can do song by song with the producer. I can just do the songs how I do them now. I mean, I can just get it out now. I can get it out and have it be art. And art is never really finished. It's only abandoned. And that seems like a very negative thing, but it's not. You have to express yourself. Whatever you want to work on or put out in the world, it can never you can never just work on it all the time. And there really might not be any discernible difference between working on it for 6 months to working on it for 2 years. Um, and people are not dissecting it as much as you are. And this could be anything. This could be a book. This could be a new business. This could be a new job. This could be working on your resume. It could be a number of things. But doing that thing, whatever it is, instead of just giving into the anxiety or giving into the perfectionism, I think they're very similar. Um, they must be cousins, ugly cousins. Just being in your heart and living in your heart and going to do whatever it is that you want to do. That is so much more powerful, impactful, and loving for yourself and for the world by example than to put it off and try to line up the circumstances or line up the resources or try to get yourself 100% improved before doing that thing. You are improving yourself. You are getting the resources. You are changing the circumstances by just leaping forward, and not caring if you have a parachute behind you or a bungee or a trampoline or some kind of soft covering below if you fall. You will start to fly. I think Steve Harvey made that some kind of metaphor along those lines. Like eventually you do have to leap, and you might fall for a long time, but eventually you will start to catch air and you will start floating. Um, and you never really reach the bottom unless you give up. I know there's always extreme life circumstances, like you might be homeless, or you might have no money at all. You might not have anywhere to live. You might have serious health issues, serious financial issues. I understand all of that. But even though some of those circumstances, like I have been homeless many times, sometimes by choice, sometimes by not choice, and I still made it work. I still kept moving it forward. I you know, still was moving towards the things that I wanted to do. So, what I'm saying is that going forward towards the things that you want, regardless of the implications of it, regardless of how your mind's freaking out, it's your heart will thank you for doing that, and you will be happier, even if it's not what your ego or what your mind perceived that it was going to be. Maybe it's not perfect, but your heart is moving in a direction that it wants to go, and that's never, ever, ever a bad idea. And that is true security within yourself. That's more security than that cushy job or that 401k or the approval of others around you, or sticking to the same lifestyle that you're used to, the safe lifestyle that you're used to. That's more security than anything outside of yourself. And you only have yourself at the end of the day. Literally everything else can change. Where you live, what you drive, what you wear, what you eat, the people around you, your lifestyle, your possessions, your money, everything, all of that can change. That stuff is always variable. Your family, your friends, all that stuff. But what you have at the end of the day is always yourself. If you're alive and you're breathing, you always have yourself at the end of the day. So it makes sense to put yourself first. Most people know that, but does everyone actually do that? And I really believe that sitting with yourself, loving and accepting yourself is the answer to that. And just being away from it for a few days got me back into that external mindset. And I've talked about this many times in my other videos. Just stepping outside of that for a little bit got me back into that old mindset of like, I need to control everything around me. And because everything around me is falling apart, then I must be falling apart. Or if I'm feeling a certain way on the inside, that's what I must be. And really, there's something deeper within all of that, and it's you. You are love. You have to practice love within yourself. You have to forgive, love, and accept yourself, because that's all you really have at the end of the day. All you can change is the way you love yourself and the way you perceive things, because everything else is pretty much out of your control. And the anxiety or the perfectionism or thinking ahead and not moving towards the things that you want, I really believe that is a result, a byproduct of being so caught up in the external things. Easier said than done, but harder to do, harder to not do than actually do. That's my follow up to that. Easier said than done, but harder to not do than to actually do. Stay sexy, Franians, and move towards something that your heart is calling you to today. You'll your yourself will thank you. See you soon. Bye.